first one that you're going to be hearing in the set that I'm going to be playing is based on a folk tune. And then piece number 66, which you will not be hearing because I'm playing all 66, is based on the same tune, but he turns it into a bit of a waltz instead. So these are some of Grieg's lyric pieces. next piece is by an Armenian-American composer, Alan Havanas. It was hard to find information out about him because he's not really well known. But he studied in Hawaii for a while, and then he went to Japan, and he got a grant from the Rockefeller Foundation, I believe, to go study Japanese music and various instruments over in Japan. So he learned all of these instruments. And so a lot of his music has a Japanese sound to it, which is what you're going to hear. Komachi is the title of this set of pieces, and it refers to a specific district in the town Kamikara why I put it on the program. The next piece is by Philip Glass. Any of you who know the name Philip Glass might be groaning inwardly right now because Philip Glass is known for his minimalist work in which he takes a small pattern and he repeats it over and over and over and over again and just makes very little changes to it. Well, this work is similar to that, but it's not strict minimalism in that he adds in extra patterns as the piece goes on. It's the harmonic background that stays the same the whole way through, but then he keeps changing the motives that he uses on top of that. So it's not strict minimalism, so it's a little easier to listen to. It is still quite repetitive, so you might fall asleep. That's okay. Because it's really, really relaxing and very enjoyable to listen to. Ironically, Philip Glass himself didn't like to be called a minimalist. He preferred the term he preferred to call his music repetitively structured, which means minimalist. But anyways, I'm not sure what in his mind what the difference is. But anyway.
Take about a 10-minute intermission. If you need to use the washroom or just want to talk to one another, that'd be great. It's also a time when we do our free will offering, and just a reminder that proceeds of our free will offering go toward the music programs at Wilfrid Laurier University, as well as the ministries here at St. Matthew's. Concerts. And again, I ask that you would, tell other people and get them out here and let them know what it is we're doing and let them know what it is they're missing by not being here with us tonight. Gary is good enough to videotape the performance this evening, so hopefully we'll be able to do something with that, perhaps show that to folks on Sunday morning as well. But word of mouth is what we need, and we can advertise. We can get it out on the signs. We can get it in all the different places around town and on the radio. But we really need your help to make this even more of a success than it already has been. And again, tonight more than $300. So again, thank you very much for your support of this. And once again, approximately 80 of those dollars will go toward Laurier, and the rest will come to the ministries, and will also help to take care of Cam's mileage, so we can get him back and forth to his home. Again, thank you very much for coming out and for your generosity. And once again, I will turn it over to Cam.
Because he lived in Spain for a long time, as The next two pieces are much more characteristic, more lyrical, more flowing, more about color, that type of thing. So this is by a Canadian composer, the next three pieces, and I hope you enjoy them.
Cam, again, thank you very much for sharing your wonderful gifts with us tonight.
Yeah.
On behalf of everybody here, I think not only did we enjoy hearing you play, but we also got a wonderful music history lesson as well this evening, which was fantastic. There we go. And I hope you enjoyed being able to watch him play. We just were able to purchase the equipment for this, and I want to thank Gary and Dave Grenfell for making all of this work and things. And I also want to thank Barry Josephson for being at the sound box tonight as well, helping us out there. Next month we won't be having a concert per se. However, there will be a concert here. Soundsations will be here, and they'll be singing for us. And one of the things that makes that concert a little different is that the proceeds of that evening will be going both to the Diabetes Association, the Juvenile Diabetes Association, and also will be coming back to the church as well. So please support Soundsations when they're here. We really look forward to having them in the concert and their gifts as well. And then in December, tentatively, we're thinking of a concert on the 12th of December when Joshua Zettner Barrett, we hope, will be able to come back and join us and play the organ for us once again. And perhaps we'll be joined by some other friends of his from Laurier. And of course, we always look forward to having Cam come back if he's able to do that. And we were talking earlier about the possibility of his quartet coming and singing some sacred music for us. So that would be great. That would be fantastic. Again, thank you very much for coming out tonight. Godspeed, safe travels home. And again, thank you, Cam.